The distant planet Helios was once a beacon of hope in the galaxy, home to a coalition of species who lived in peace and harmony. But that was before the Draxis arrived. The Draxis were a ruthless alien force, emerging from the unknown regions of space, consuming everything in their path. They had no mercy, no diplomacy, only destruction. The coalition, known as the Helian Alliance, tried everything to stop them. Their best fleets, their strongest warriors, and their most advanced technology all failed. The Draxis were too powerful, too relentless. City after city fell, and soon only the capital remained. In a last, desperate attempt to survive, the Helian Alliance decided to call upon an ancient ally they had once wronged the humans of Terra. Long ago, the Alliance had rejected humanity's offer to join them, deeming them too primitive. But now, they had no choice but to reach out to those they had turned away. On Terra, the news of Helios' plight reached the ears of Commander Zara Drake, the leader of Terra's defense force. Zara was known for her sharp mind and fearless heart. She had led humanity through many challenges, but nothing like this. When the Helian Alliance sent their plea for help, there was anger among the Terrans. Why should we help them? Many asked. They turned their backs on us. But Zara saw something different. She saw an opportunity to prove that humanity was more than just another species in the galaxy. She saw a chance to show that humans could be the heroes they had always aspired to be. We will help them, Zara declared to her council. Not because they deserve it, but because it's the right thing to do. We fight not just for them, but for the survival of all. Zara Drake stood on the bridge of the Vanguard, her eyes fixed on the massive display screen in front of her. The screen showed the planet Helios, now under heavy attack by the Draxis. The once peaceful planet was being torn apart, and the Helian Alliance was struggling to hold the line. The sky over Helios was dark with Draxis ships, their weapons unleashing destruction on the cities below. The Terran Armada, led by Zara, arrived just in time. The Terran ships were sleek and advanced, built for speed and power. They cut through space with precision, their weapons ready for battle. Zara knew that the Draxis were powerful and ruthless, but she also knew that the humans had something the Draxis didn't expect: unpredictability. Prepare for battle, Zara commanded, her voice steady and calm. The crew of the Vanguard moved quickly, each person focused on their task. The Terran Armada moved into formation, positioning themselves to strike the Draxis fleet. As the Terran ships approached, the Draxis immediately responded, sending a wave of their grotesque organic ships to intercept. The Draxis ships were like nothing the humans had ever seen before: massive, living vessels that seemed to pulse with dark energy. Engage, Zara ordered. The Terran ships surged forward, their weapons firing in unison. The battle had begun. The sky over Helios lit up with laser fire and explosions as the two fleets clashed. The Terran ships moved with speed and agility, dodging the Draxis attacks and striking back with deadly accuracy. The Draxis, accustomed to overwhelming their enemies with sheer force, were caught off guard by the Terran tactics. Zara's strategy was simple, but effective: hit hard and move fast. The Terran ships targeted the Draxis command vessels, knowing that without their leaders, the Draxis forces would be thrown into chaos. One by one, the Draxis command ships began to fall, and with each one, the Draxis fleet became more disorganized. But the battle was far from over. The Draxis still had overwhelming numbers, and they were relentless in their assault. Zara's ship, the Vanguard, took several hits, but she remained focused. "We can't let up," she told her crew. "We have to keep pushing." The Vanguard led the charge, taking out Draxis ships with precision strikes. The Terran fleet followed Zara's lead, pressing the attack even as the Draxis fought back with everything they had. The battle raged on, but slowly, the tide began to turn in favor of the Terrans. As the battle continued, Zara kept her focus on the ultimate goal, defeating the Draxis and saving Helios. She knew that this fight was not just for the Helian Alliance, but for the future of the entire galaxy. And she was determined to see it through, no matter the cost. The battle over Helios was fierce, but the Draxis were still far from defeated. Their ships, though disorganized, continued to fight with a terrifying ferocity. The Terran Armada, led by Zara Drake, had made significant progress, but the Draxis still had the advantage in numbers and sheer destructive power. Zara called her senior officers to the command center of the Vanguard. The holographic display showed the massive Draxis mothership deep within their formation. It was heavily guarded, surrounded by a swarm of smaller Draxis vessels. Getting close to it would be nearly impossible, but Zara knew they had no choice. "We have to take out that mothership," Zara said, her voice calm but determined. "It's our only chance to end this." "What's the plan, Commander?" asked Lieutenant Reynolds, her second in command. "We're going to punch through their defenses and hit the mothership with everything we've got," Zara replied. "We'll lead a direct assault, focus all our firepower on their core, and bring the ship down." Zara turned back to the display, studying the Draxis formation. "We'll use our fastest ships to create a diversion," she continued. "They'll draw the Draxis fire away from the Vanguard. Once we're close enough, we'll unleash our full arsenal on the mothership's core." The officers nodded, understanding their roles in the plan. They had fought alongside Zara before, and they trusted her judgment. If anyone could pull off this impossible mission, it was Commander Zara Drake. As they prepared for the assault, the mood on the Vanguard was tense but focused. The crew moved with purpose, knowing that the fate of the battle, and possibly the entire galaxy, depended on their success. The Vanguard led the charge, with Zara at the helm. The smaller Terran ships sped ahead, drawing the Draxis fire as planned. The Draxis reacted as expected, focusing their attacks on the decoys, leaving the Vanguard a narrow path to approach the mothership. "Divert all power to forward shields and engines," Zara ordered as the Vanguard surged ahead, pushing through the chaos of the battlefield. The ship shook violently as it absorbed enemy fire, but Zara's focus never wavered. They were getting closer, and she could see the massive Draxis mothership looming before them. "Target the core," Zara commanded. The crew worked swiftly, locking onto the mothership's vulnerable point. The Vanguard's weapons systems hummed with power as they prepared to unleash a final, devastating strike. "Fire!" Zara's voice rang out, and the Vanguard unleashed its full arsenal. The weapons hit the mothership's core directly, causing a massive explosion that rippled through the Draxis fleet. The mothership shuddered, its defenses collapsing under the intense barrage. The explosion was so powerful that it sent shockwaves through the surrounding space, causing Draxis ships to veer off course and collide with one another. The once coordinated Draxis fleet was thrown into disarray, their command structure shattered. As the Draxis mothership began to break apart, Zara watched the display, her heart pounding. They had done it. The Draxis were now leaderless, their forces in chaos. The Terran Armada, seizing the opportunity, pressed the attack, taking down Draxis ships with relentless precision. The battle was not over, but the tide had finally turned. For the first time, victory was within reach. With the plan in place, the Terran and Helian forces launched their final assault. Zara led the charge, her heart pounding with determination. The Vanguard weaved through the Draxis defenses, dodging enemy fire and closing in on the mothership. The Draxis fought back fiercely, but the Terrans were relentless. They focused all their firepower on the mothership, aiming for its central core. The ship's defenses were formidable, But Zara refused to give up. Finally, with a desperate push, the Vanguard's weapons locked onto the core. Zara gave the order, and the ship's cannons unleashed their full power. The core exploded, and the Draxis mothership began to collapse. Default text as the ship disintegrated, the Draxis fleet fell into disarray. Without their command, they were vulnerable, and the combined forces of Terra and Helios quickly overwhelmed them. The battle was won. As the dust settled, Zara looked out over the wreckage of the Draxis fleet. Helios was safe, thanks to the courage of those who had fought against impossible odds. But she knew that the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had shown its strength, and now they would have to decide what role they would play in the future of the galaxy. The Helian Alliance, once proud and independent, now looked to Terra not just as allies, but as leaders. And Zara, the hero of Helios, knew that their journey was just beginning.